I'm tired. I hear this every day. I hear it from family caregivers who miss the opportunities for the much needed breaks they once had in the before times when people could come into their homes and relieve them for a few hours. I hear it from the newly bereaved, whose grief is complicated by pandemic-induced social distancing mandates at the very time when they really need to be close to the people they love. I hear it from frontline healthcare workers and teachers and therapists and pastors and activists. I hear it from parents who are desperately trying to balance their work lives with the needs of their families. Our collective weariness is palpable. It's not hard to see why. We've been through a lot in the last few months, actually in the past few years. No wonder we're tired. And yet, there's still so much to be done on so many fronts. It would seem that we don't have time to cope with fatigue. Something in us keeps pushing us on. Where does that energy come from? Is it a sort of shared adrenaline rush? Is burnout right around the corner? Perhaps. But what is also right around the corner is Advent, the season of ritualized waiting and preparing. In the weeks and now months before Christmas that our consumerist culture has trained us to view as year-end buying frenzy and social whirlwind, Christians enter into a communal, introspective pause. Observing Advent is a radical act that flies in the face of cultural norms. The social and economic sirens scream, "Hurry, you'll miss the sale. You won't find that in-demand toy that guarantees happiness. Oh, and try to fit as many parties into your schedule as possible." But the voice of Advent whispers, "Slow down. Look within. Take stock of where you've been and where you're going. And ask yourself whose and who you are." One of the most beloved biblical Advent texts is Isaiah 40. And one of the best known phrases in the chapter is, "In the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God." I think it's easy for Americans to read this and get a sense of being tasked with bushwhacking our way through thickets, tackling a tough project. We love that sort of thing. Historically, we've prided ourselves on our indomitable can-do spirits as we confront impossible situations. And confronting a myriad of impossible situations is what so many of us feel like we've been called to do over the past months and years. We've faced Herculean challenges and felt compelled to create a path through hostile territory toward much-needed change in an unjust world. And that is all right and good, but it doesn't tell a complete story. Look at the words that open the 40th chapter of Isaiah. "Comfort, oh comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly." Before the imperative to forge ahead in the wildest places comes a note of gentleness. Comfort my people. Speak tenderly. Savor those words for a moment. Comfort, tenderness. They've both been in short supply lately. This is certainly true on social media and in what passes for civil national debates. You know, it's easy to speak hateful, condescending, disturbing words, especially from a distance. It's easy in such a divided ideological landscape to throw verbal barbs into the ether. It's harder to do that when you have to look a person in the eye. As I navigate the harsh edges of our supercharged emotional environment, if I just sit with the words comfort and speak tenderly, if I just sit with them for a bit, something in me softens. I find myself breathing a sigh of relief, breathing freely and evenly. It's refreshing. It's grounding. In the coming Advent season, we're invited to practice comfort and tenderness, right alongside the practice of making a new path through uncharted territory and preparing the way for the light to come once again. This practice isn't a luxury, it's a directive. As the howling voices of division and demonization of others drone on, we are called to comfort and to speak tenderly. This doesn't mean that we're excused from speaking truth to power or taking action for justice. It does mean that we're being urged to turn down the volume. After all, important issues are rarely resolved in heated exchanges. It means that we need to listen to each other and treat each other with respect, comfort, tenderness. And we're called to treat ourselves with that very same tenderness and kindness. When we're this tired, we need to find opportunities to rest and to be refreshed. That means different things to each of us, from getting adequate sleep, to walking in the woods, to making music, to engaging in centering prayer. We have a long road ahead of us. It's a marathon. Advent offers us the opportunity to pause, rest, reflect, and recharge as we engage in the ongoing work of bearing the light in the darkness.